Hey everybody, how's it going? So in today's video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about Taiyo Robotics. Regardless if you're new into Solana NFTs or you've been in Solana NFTs for a while now, there is no doubt that you heard about this project. Even though you may heard about this project, there's a lot of confusion on what the utility of this project is and where it's going in the future. Furthermore, even if you do know the utility of holding a Taiyo Gen 1, there may be other confusing aspects of the ecosystem like what's oil, what are mint passes, what is graphite. Don't worry, I got you covered. By the end of this video, you'll have a comprehensive understanding of all the aspects within the Taiyo ecosystem. Furthermore, if you stick around until the end of this video, I'll share with you what are some of the best ways that you can gain exposure to this ecosystem based on various amounts of liquidity that you may have. My name is Dorian, and I've been involved in Solana NFTs for a while now, and I've been pretty successful. So I want to share my knowledge and experience with you so you can become successful as well. Before we get started, I want to say that I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. All the information contained in this video is for informative purposes only. I'm not telling you to go out and buy anything within this ecosystem. I'm just informing you about what this ecosystem is about so you have the knowledge to make your own decisions. Furthermore, I do own a Gen 1 Taiyo and I also own a 10-liter oil. Now that's out the way, let's get started. The success of a project is heavily reliant on the person who's leading it. And the person who's leading Taiyo Robotics is Solport Tom. Solport Tom is not actually the original founder of this project. He purchased this project from the original founders. The original founders of this project actually rugged their project. Tom made them an offer and they sold it to him spontaneously. When Tom asked them why did they rug their project, they told him that they were not emotionally ready to handle a project of this magnitude, nor they didn't think that they would become this successful. Tom purchased Taiyo Robotics because he loved the community and he had a greater vision of using Taiyo Robotics to build tech on Solana. Tom has a strong background of being an entrepreneur. He has a long history of starting and running successful businesses in Web 2. Tom began his entrepreneurial career when he was 13 years old, and now he has become a multi-millionaire. For me, I know when I was 13, I was too busy watching Naruto, playing Final Fantasy, to even think about starting a business. And that's probably why I'm not a millionaire today. It speaks a lot about his character to have enough discipline at such a young age to work hard enough to where he is today. Since taking over this project, he has been crystal clear on the goals that he wanted to accomplish with Taiyo Robotics. He wanted to stick with the original roadmap, which consisted of launching Gen 2 Taiyos or infants, and to also continue with the distribution of scrap, and to do Gen 1 Taiyo customization. All those have been successfully executed, and I'll provide you more information about all of those later on in this video. However, he didn't want to just stick with the original roadmap. He really wanted to expand Taiyo Robotics and develop it into an enterprise-level tech company that continuously brought value back to Taiyo holders. And with the release of Graphite coming up in the future, I think he'll be able to successfully do this. Now that you know more about the person who's leading the project, let's get into the utility of Gen 1 Taiyos, Legendaries, and Gen 2 Taiyos, formerly known as Taiyo Infants. One of the main utilities for a Taiyo Gen 1 is to earn scrap through staking. Now, with Taiyo staking, there are several different lock periods that you can stake your Taiyo for. You have a no lock period, a 7-day lock period, a 10-day, 30-day, and 60-day lock period. All these different lock periods make you eligible to earn a certain amount of scrap per day. The longer you lock, the more scrap you get. If you choose to go the route of having a no lock period, meaning you're free to stake and unstake your Taiyo as you wish, you'll only gain 5 scrap per day. However, if you stake it for a 7-day period, you'll be eligible to earn 7.5 scrap per day. If you decide to lock it for 10, 30, or 60 days, you'll be earning 8.5 scrap per day. Now I know you're thinking, why would I lock it for 30 or 60 days when I'm earning the same amount of scrap that I would earn for locking it for only 10? Well, the answer to that is because locking it for 30 or 60 days makes you eligible for affiliate revenue distributed from the launchpad that Taiyo has. I will go more into the details about this launchpad later on in the video. Taiyo staking is custodial. So when you go to stake your Taiyo, it'll leave your wallet and go into the staking wallet. Furthermore, when you stake your Taiyo for a period of 7, 10, 30, or 60 days, you have to lock 150 scrap as well. Locking 150 scrap is a way to stem the sell-off of scrap to try to help it hold value more. Once that lock period is over, you'll be able to retrieve the 150 scrap initial deposit. Furthermore, you're not able to unstake early. So if you lock for 60 days, that Taiyo is stuck until then, and not even the devs or Tom himself can do anything to help you out. It's built into the contract, so be very careful about how long you want to lock your Taiyo for. Some of the other utility that Gen 1 Taiyo holders receive are affiliate distributions from the Launchpad, as mentioned earlier, Taiyo Gen 1 customizations, airdrops via 10-liter oils, which has already happened, and I will provide the utility for those later on in the video, and access to gated areas in the Discord. While Taiyo Gen 1s are the most known Taiyo, or the most recognizable ones within the Taiyo ecosystem, there are other Taiyos such as Taiyo Legendaries that many people don't know about. Taiyo Legendaries are one-of-one animated Gen 1 Taiyos that are unique from the rest of the collection. Taiyo Legendaries were auctioned off, and one of the highest selling Taiyo Legendaries sold for 130 SOL. At the time, that was $24,000. Taiyo Legendaries are also eligible for staking, according to the same lock periods that I discussed earlier. However, one significant difference of Taiyo Legendaries is that they gain 5x more scrap per day than Taiyo Gen 1s. They are also eligible for airdrops, specifically in the form of 20-liter oil. Once again, I will be providing the utility of the 20-liter, the 10-liter, and the 5-liter oil later on in the video, so don't worry about that right now. One of the last major parts of the Taiyo ecosystem that I would like to cover are Taiyo Gen 2s, or infants. Taiyo infants were not a mint. The way to initially acquire a Taiyo Gen 2 was by building or incubating with another Taiyo Gen 1 holder. And to facilitate this process, Tom built an amazing website called Hot Metal. Hot Metal acted as a Taiyo Gen 1 dating site. You could go in there and put the type of Taiyo characteristics you were interested in, and you even had a bio that you could fill in for your Taiyo. Not only did this increase the lore of the ecosystem, but it provided a great narrative twist on something that could have been a boring process of just going in a Discord chat and finding somebody else to create an infant with. After the end of their building period, an incubator was created. It took 30 days for an infant to hatch from an incubator. Legendary Taiyos were also able to create infants. Taiyo infants that were created through incubation from legendary Taiyos are clearly distinguished because the infants are also animated. The core utility that you get from holding a Taiyo infant right now is distribution from the affiliate launchpad program. Whenever a project is launched through the Taiyo launchpad, a snapshot is taken of all the 30-day, 60-day Gen 1 stakers and of the Taiyo infant holders. These snapshots are taken so the team knows who's eligible for affiliate distribution whenever those occur. As of now, Taiyo infants are not eligible for staking, so there's no way for them to passively accumulate scrap. However, once Graphite is released, this is going to dramatically change that, along with various other aspects of the ecosystem. I'm sure you can tell by now that scrap is a very integral part of the ecosystem. So now, let's talk more about scrap so you can be more informed about the different ways you can use it within the ecosystem. Scrap is the current ecosystem token for Taiyo Robotics. The total supply of scrap is 5 million. Whenever scrap is used for anything within the Taiyo ecosystem, it's burnt. Currently, 43% of the total supply of scrap has been burnt. Some of the things that you can use scrap on within the Taiyo ecosystem is customization of Gen 1 Taiyos, raffles. You can also use it on the whitelist minting platform, and in the future, you'll be able to use it on Merchport, the Taiyo ecosystem e-commerce site. Now, I could simply move on from here and just skip on to the next portion, but I want to provide you all with a little bit more context on what each one of these platforms actually do, so you can better understand the ecosystem. Regarding Gen 1 Taiyos, you can customize the background, the breastplate, the energy source, the visor, the helmet, and the shoulders. There are a lot of different parts that you can use to customize your Taiyo, which leads to a lot of variation within the collection. There's a limited supply of each part. However, if one part does sell out, you might get lucky enough and someone might want to sell it, and you can buy that part that you really desired off of Magic Eden. The Raffle Site is another place that you can spin your scrap. On the Raffle Site, you can use your scrap to enter raffles for whitelist and NFTs. Some of the really hype whitelist spots that they raffled off were Trippin' Ape Tribes, Just Ape, and Bubble Goose, just to name a few. One of the most notable NFTs that were raffled off on this platform was a Gen 1 Taiyo. Another area of the ecosystem that you can spin your scrap in is on the whitelist minting platform. We're all in Discord, so we know how giveaway goes. You either press a button and hopefully you get randomly selected, or it's a first come first serve or FCFS giveaway where you just gotta dash into the Discord first. Well, Taiyo has created a unique way where if you see a whitelist that you want, you can just purchase it. Not only does this guarantee you a spot in the hype whitelist or a whitelist that you've been really looking forward to, but it's also a way to gauge it, how the community sentiment is around this whitelist. Because you can see how much whitelists are left for a certain project, if you think you're interested in it and you think it might sell out, and you see that the rest of the community doesn't share the same sentiment as you, you can use that as a gauge to be like, maybe I shouldn't be picking this one off and let this one pass. The final area that you will be able to spin your scrap on is Merchport. Merchport is still under development, but one of the initial plans for Merchport is to have 300 hoodies available to purchase in scrap, and these hoodies will cost between 300 and 500 SOL. If all of these hoodies mint out, that'll be up to an extra 120,000 scrap burned out of the ecosystem. I know you're thinking, why is scrap being burned so aggressively? Well, Tom is trying to burn as much scrap as possible before the launch of Graphite. So, what is Graphite? Graphite will be Taiyo Robotics' new ecosystem token, and when this token releases, it's going to completely revamp the project. Since day one of Tom taking over Taiyo Robotics, he understood that scrap was unsustainable. So, to help him build a sustainable ecosystem token, he has hired 2 economists that have been working for months to help him curate and develop ideas to create sustainable tokenomics. When Graphite releases, it'll fall under 2 models, the business-to-business model and the business-to-consumer model. The business-to-business model really focuses on licensing tech out to different companies or NFT projects. In order to access this suite of tools, you must pay in Graphite. Having different projects or companies paying Graphite helps the token not only remain stable, but also leaves open the potential to appreciate in value later on. All of these tech suite tools are meant to be permissionless and self-serving. So even if you don't have devs experience, you can come in and utilize these tools. Some of the tools that are included in this tech suite are things such as launchpads for NFTs and IDOs, staking websites, whitelist minting sites, and also Discord bots. While the market may be slow right now, during a bull market, I can see this being adopted massively. And as more projects use Graphite, once again, the price is likely to increase within this ecosystem token. While the business-to-business side is exciting, a lot of people will be even more excited about the business-to-consumer model of Graphite. The business-to-consumer model is essentially an incubator for launching NFT projects. One of the key differences between the launch pads now and when Graphite releases is that under the current incubator system, projects are required to pay a certain amount of SOL to be launched. However, once Graphite releases, the projects will be required to give Taiyo a portion of their mint supply. By providing Taiyo with a portion of their mint supply, it's not saying that, oh, only 2,000 mints are going to go to Taiyo holders. What this means is that a portion of their mint supply must be minted in Graphite. Furthermore, a portion of their whitelist spots must be raffled off in Graphite. Having projects not only mint in Graphite, but also provide their whitelist spots in Graphite gives Taiyo holders a huge advantage to potentially some very high valued or super exciting mints. If you've been around during a bull market, you know how crazy it can get for certain projects, and being able to have access to that through holding a Taiyo Gen 1 or an infant is invaluable. Not only will Taiyo holders be able to gain benefits through having a portion of a mint supply being raffled off and minted in Graphite, Taiyo holders will also gain an increased benefit once Graphite is launched through improved staking mechanics. Taiyo infants are the ones that are most likely to benefit from these new staking mechanics. Why is that? Because currently they have no staking. Under the Graphite model of staking, they'll finally be able to earn the ecosystem token through passively staking, because currently only Gen 1s and Legendaries can do that. Furthermore, another huge update to the staking model is the shift from custodial staking to non-custodial staking. Non-custodial staking means that your Taiyo never leaves your wallet. And not having your Taiyo ever leave your wallet and still being to accumulate rewards is a huge benefit. Going forward under Graphite, Taiyos will be able to earn rewards and increased emissions based on hitting certain milestones. A new milestone is achieved once every 30 days. So for Gen 1s, day 1 through day 30, a Gen 1 will receive 5 graphite per day. Once they hit the 31-day mark, from day 31 to day 60, they will receive 7 graphite a day. Day 61 through 101, they'll receive 8.5 graphite, and day 102 through 65, they'll receive 10 graphite a day. Now for the infants, day 1 through 30, they'll receive 1.66 graphite a day. Day 31 through 60, they will receive 2.33. Day 61 through 101, they'll receive 2.83. And day 102 through 365, they will receive 3.33. Tom understands that the Taiyo holders have been accumulating scrap for a while. So before the transition happens to graphite, Tom will be allowing a 1-for-1 burn from scrap to graphite. With the release of the new incubation model and being able to accumulate graphite, I think it'll provide a lot of value to Taiyo holders in the sense that Taiyo holders will no longer have to take loans out of their Taiyo or sell Taiyos for liquidity to gain access for hype mints. The way to gain access for some of the best mints on Solana will be through holding a Taiyo and due to the incubator. Now, with all the competing different launch pads out there, how will Taiyo attract some of the best projects in the ecosystem? Well, the answer to that is Taiyo Pilots. Taiyo Pilots will be the lore-focused, brand-driven aspect of the Taiyo ecosystem. Some of the lore around Taiyo Pilots is that there are 4 competing factions living in Lunar City, and Lunar City is powered by graphite. These competing factions' names are the Controllers, the Enforcers, the Rebels, and the Resistance. The entire collection size of Taiyo Pilots will be 12.5K. Within this collection, there will be 500 to 600 unique traits. Taiyo Pilots don't have a traditional staking model as the Gen 1s and Gen 2 has. They have an incentivized staking model, or engage to earn. You will be able to send your pilots on missions, and once they complete these missions, they can earn graphite or other unique items to customize their pilot. Some of these missions include going to follow somebody on Twitter, or doing something in Discord, or something to promote engagement within the ecosystem. More information will be provided on this later or as soon as we get closer to mint date. While they haven't announced an exact mint date, they haven't announced a mint time frame, and that mint time frame is around the end of August. The Taiyo Pilot mint will be in scrap, not sold. The mint price for the Taiyo Pilots will be 295 scrap. All scrap that is used in this mint is burnt. None of it goes to the team, so the team is not making any money minting Taiyo Pilots. While paying 295 scrap is the primary way to mint a pilot, there's also other ways. Picking up a Taiyo Oil is one way, or another way that is no longer available but it's still important for you to know about is minting through a mint pass. Oil was an airdrop to Taiyo holders. The size of oil that you received was determined by what type of Taiyo you were holding. If you were holding a Taiyo Infant, you received a 5-liter oil. If you held a Gen 1 Taiyo, you received a 10-liter oil. And if you hold a Legendary Taiyo, you will receive a 20-liter oil. I just want to clarify that the 5-liter and 10-liter oil airdrops have already been conducted, and those can be purchased on Magic Eden, while the Legendary 20-liter airdrop has not been conducted yet. Oil will act as a mint pass for Taiyo Pilots. So you will be able to mint a certain amount of Taiyo Pilots depending on the size of your oil. So if you have a 5-liter oil, you'll be able to mint 1 Taiyo Pilot. If you have a 10-liter oil, you'll be able to mint 2 Taiyo Pilots. And if you have a 20-liter oil, you'll be able to mint 4 Taiyo Pilots. This mint will be for free, so you do not have to pay the 295 scrap cost. Furthermore, minting a Taiyo Pilot isn't the only utility that you get. An oil will also provide you eligibility for future airdrops. Not only that, you will be able to receive increased staking rewards by burning a portion of your Taiyo oil. So even if you don't own a Gen 1 Taiyo or a Gen 2 Taiyo, you can still pick up an oil and still be able to mint Taiyo Pilots. The only aspect of utility that you won't receive is those increased staking rewards because you do not own a Gen 1 or Gen 2. The other way to mint a Taiyo Pilot was through the mint passes. Once again, I want to state that this method is no longer available, but is still relevant to the ecosystem, so I want to talk to you about it. Mint passes were a way to guarantee people a mint for Taiyo Pilots. There were 2 rounds available for a mint pass. During the first round of mint passes, there were only 1,500 available, and the cost for those passes were 250 scrap. During the second round of mint passes, there were only 400 available, and the price was 275 scrap. These mint passes not only provided you a free mint on mint day for a Taiyo Pilot, these mint passes also provide you a 50% discount on merch in the future. These mint passes are not transferable and they are tied to your wallet. So unfortunately, there is no way for anybody to acquire one if you haven't already purchased one in the past. I have finally covered all the important aspects of the Taiyo ecosystem. Now that I've covered all the aspects and you're more knowledgeable about the project, I want to tell you my analysis on the project and where I think it's going in the future. I believe Taiyo is prepping for another bull run, and the catalyst to initiate that will be the launch of Graphite. No project reaches this level in the ecosystem without a strong founder and a strong community, and it goes without saying Taiyo has both of those. Solport Tom is one of the best leaders in Solana. He has tons of Web 2 experience, and not only that, he's brought that experience into Web 3. Since taking over Taiyo, he has been laser focused on building Taiyo into an enterprise level tech company. Not only that, he's been laser focused on bringing value back to Taiyo holders as well. It hasn't been up only for Tom in this space. There has been setbacks not only for him, but for the community. The community had to suffer going through a rug. Tom poured a lot of effort and liquidity into building Solport, and that hasn't received a lot of adoption. However, Tom carries a trait that most people don't in this space, and that's perseverance. Being able to learn your lessons and push forward through these hard times and develop something better in the future is something that very few founders do. And the ones that do have the trait of perseverance and not stopping and innovating to continue to push on are the people I like to back. His ability to create innovative tech in this space should not be understated. Staking platforms are a dime a dozen now. However, because they're so prevalent within Solana now, I don't think people fully appreciate the amount of time and effort that it takes to create a good staking platform. Tom was one of the first people to create a staking platform for Taiyo. Other people, even today, attempt to create a soft staking platform, even though they're a top project in the ecosystem, and fail miserably. Furthermore, other projects attempt to create a staking platform, but has all sorts of bugs in there that drain their community's wallets. So we need to give credit where it's due when a developer or a team being able to create and launch a staking platform. Furthermore, Tom has created the only unbottable marketplace on Solana. Because volume is super low right now, it's not that impressive, but when volume does return and we don't want the network to shut down, I think a lot of projects will be looking to license this tech from Taiyo's in order to be able to mint their projects. Tom's technical expertise of innovation in tech and understanding of blockchain has definitely been on full display recently in the Solana hack. Tom was one of the first people, if not the first, to report out what was going on with the situation. The Taiyo Discord kind of became a safe haven for people to gain information and discuss what was going on. Regardless of how good a leader Tom is, he can't do it alone. It takes a strong community, and Taiyo has that as well. When you join the Taiyo Discord, you're getting probably one of the warmest welcomes that you will ever experience. You have between, I would say, 25 to 40 people welcoming you into the Discord regardless of the time of day that you join. It's a very nice experience that a lot of people don't get. So I think that little small aspect goes a long way. That type of welcome also extends over to Twitter. On any Taiyo Twitter post that I see, regardless if that's a Gen 1 or an infant, people are welcomed into the community. Most posts I see get between 60 to 80 likes on a low end. For a collection size that combined is around 3,500, that's an amazing amount of engagement that people receive. There are 10,000 collection size projects that don't get anywhere near that type of engagement of welcoming new members into their community. Another point that we can look at to see how strong the Taiyo community is the amount of listings. At any point, The most listings I've ever seen regarding of Taiyo Gen 1s are 11%. That is extremely low. This means people have been holding from the all-time high and are still holding at this point and plan to hold for the foreseeable future. Having such a strong foundation in leadership and community only requires a small catalyst to propel this project back to all-time highs and break it, and that catalyst will be graphite. Taiyo reached its highest floor price when scrap was at its highest floor price. Now, with graphite, a sustainable token, not only do I think that Taiyo will be able to reach its highest floor price again, but it will be able to break it, and when it does retrace, it'll be able to maintain a higher floor price because the token that you're getting from staking is more sustainable in the long term and not just a typical farm token. Graphite has real utility, and as the tools within the tech suite are adopted and people begin paying in graphite, and during a bull market when there are a lot of hype projects utilizing the Taiyo incubator and the Taiyo community is receiving some of the best whitelist spots and having access to some of the best mints through graphite, we're really going to see a lot of visibility and attention come on this collection, which is going to really push the floor price up even higher. All in all, I think Taiyo has an extremely promising future, and I'm looking forward to being a part of it. I'd like to thank you all for sticking around until this point in the video, and to reward you guys for hanging in there with me, here's a tip on some of the best entry points that you can get into Taiyo, depending on the amount of liquidity that you have available. So, if you have enough liquidity to pick up a Gen 1, highly recommend it. It has the most utility in the current ecosystem, and once graphite is released, it'll have a ton of utility there. Now, if you're somebody who has 30 to 40 SOL laying around and you're looking for an entry within the ecosystem, Taiyo Infants is the way to go. There might not be a lot of utility under the current ecosystem, but once graphite is released, you'll be able to stake it then. Furthermore, after picking up a Taiyo Infant, if you do have enough liquidity left over, you should probably consider picking up a 5-liter or 10-liter oil. This will provide you a mint pass for Taiyo Pilots and additional utility once graphite is released through increased staking rewards by burning a portion of the oil. And finally, if you're somebody with 2 to 20 SOL who might not have enough for an infant, you could, I would recommend probably saving up till you could get an infant. If that might be too of a intimidating goal, I completely understand. But just because you can't pick up an infant, pilots are a great entry point into the Taiyo ecosystem. We know that the mint price for a pilot will be 295 scrap. So why not pick up some scrap now? The current price as of this recording for scrap is 33 cents. So picking up 295 scrap will put you about 2.4 SOL. I think that is an amazing entry point into the ecosystem. Furthermore, you should probably consider picking up a 5-liter oil or 10-liter oil if you have the liquidity for it. Not only do these act as a mint pass, but they're likely to appreciate in value once graphite is launched because the holders of infants and Gen 1 will want those increased staking rewards. Furthermore, those individuals will want whatever following airdrops will have, so I think picking up an oil is a good play as well. Once again, I really appreciate everybody who's watched this video. And I really hope after watching this video, you have a comprehensive understanding of all the aspects within the Taiyo ecosystem. Now, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Do you think graphite will be a sustainable ecosystem token, or will it wind up being just another farm token? Also, are you considering an entry point to Taiyo? If so, are you thinking about picking up a Gen 1, an infant, or a pilot? And finally, is there a project you'd like me to conduct a deep dive on? If so, leave all the answers to these questions down in the comments below. Once again, thank you so much for watching the entirety of this video, and I hope you guys learned a bunch, and I'll catch you in the next one.